It seems like with every passing day, the Dallas Mavericks continue to get disrespected, not only from NBA players, but now the media, as Brian Windhorst and Richard Jefferson felt the need to just send some shots at Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. We also have some insight on the trade deadline surrounding Kyle Kuzma and what could have happened, what almost happened, and how he feels about his situation over there in Washington, D.C. How's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavericks Digest, bringing you the latest news and everything Dallas Mavericks related. But before we get into today's video, 92.9% of you guys are not subscribed. You want to make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the video. We're dropping them back to back. We're dropping like it's hot, and you don't want to miss a thing. But we got to get into some news, man. The other day, we played against the Washington Wizards in what was a sloppy game that slowly came into a victory for us as we beat the Washington Wizards 112 to 104, as Luka Doncic had to come back from a minor chin injury to help lead the guys into a victory. Kyle Kuzma had this to say about Daniel Gafford after the game. Kyle Kuzma and Daniel Gafford. Gafford's got the easiest job in sports now. You know, everybody's going to double. He's got to catch the ball in the middle of the key, and he just has to make the right play. 16 and 17 in 24 minutes, that's tough. I am happy for him. So Kyle Kuzma with some slight praise for Daniel Gafford. If you want to interpret it as it's a slight, like, oh, his job's easy because he's not a focal point. Or if you want to look at it as, hey, ex-teammate, showing some love, showing some praise, because Daniel Gafford has been balling for us. 16 and 17, and he had 5 blocks. Let's not forget that. Daniel Gafford was everywhere. He was doing everything that we needed him to do. And Jason Kidd was pretty impressed as well. So some nice words, if you want to look at it that way, from Kyle Kuzma about Daniel Gafford. That was all good. Last night, we thought it was fine. But this morning, we woke up to some more news and some more quotes from Kyle Kuzma. It was reported that Kyle Kuzma mentioned that the Wizards offered him a trade to Dallas, but he chose to stay in D.C. to build something there. Winger presented me with what the trade was and obviously didn't want to trade me and kind of left the decision up to me a little bit and asked me what I wanted to do. I told him I wanted to stay and continue to build something, and that was kind of the end of it. Now, I understand. I'm not going to be a homer. I'm not going to be delusional. I'm going to be honest. The Dallas Mavericks are better than the Washington Wizards. I don't know what you're trying to build with Jordan Poole and Tyus Jones and all these other guys. Like, I don't know what you think you're going to build, Kyle Kuzma, in Washington, D.C. I am from Maryland. There is nothing out there. I don't know what you're going to build out there. But okay, if you want to stay, that's fine. If you don't want to be traded, that's fine. You've already won a championship in LA. Maybe you feel like you can just do it again your own way without having to join another team and win. I get that. I can see that aspect of you not wanting to just chase a ring. You want to do it your own way. I can respect that. It's your career. You have full control over it. Do it. But we have to be honest with ourselves. What are you building? You are the bottom of the barrel. You were fighting with Detroit over who was the worst team in the beginning of the season. What are you trying to build there? Now if you know, you know that Washington does not really operate that well as an organization, as we saw in previous years with John Wall taking up all that money, all that cap space, barely played. And then when they finally got rid of John Wall, they got Bradley Beal, who was already there. He was doing very well, but then he just projected into the limelight. He was their number one, and what did he do? Take up all that money, all that cap space, but he did play. I'll give him props. Bradley Beal did play. He's a great player, but he took up a lot of cap space, and that Wizards team wasn't going anywhere. Kyle Kuzma looks like he wants to just make it a three-peat. You know, you did it with John Wall. You did it with Bradley Beal. Do it with me. Just give me all the money. Now, obviously, he already signed an extension with the team, so he has shown that he wants to stay there. And maybe he does enjoy being the number one guy. Maybe he enjoys putting up good numbers for the season. Bradley Beal, if I have it right here. Kyle Kuzma is putting up some pretty good points, or pretty good averages. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 45% from the floor, 32% from 3, 80% from the free throw line. His points seem to be the only real stat that's really improved, which makes sense. He has more touches being on that team because Jordan Poole isn't that good, and the rest of the players they're on the Wizards. It's not hard to say or hard to believe that Kyle Kuzma is the best player on the Wizards right now. So maybe he enjoys being that number one guy where it's kind of like it's his team. I can respect that. I can respect your choice not to get traded, so it doesn't look like you're ring chasing. You want to do it yourself, and you want to tell them, yeah, we can build something here, even though I know deep down you don't believe that. But the disrespect comes from this quote right here. Asked by The Athletic why he told Winger he wanted to remain with the Wizards instead of joining the Mavericks, Kuzma answered, "In my career, I won a championship. So I understand that when we play this game of basketball, it's not about contending for a playoff spot. It's about contending for an NBA championship. There's only like 3 or 4 contenders, true contenders. I just feel like our timelines didn't line up." Excuse me? Hold on. Where's the graphic with his age? You are 28 years old. Kyle Kuzma, you are 28 years old. What do you mean that your timeline doesn't line up with the Dallas Mavericks with Luka? You're like 3 years older than Luka. You're about 2 years, 3 years younger than Kyrie. You are literally right there. Your timeline lines up with these guys. Again, it's okay that he didn't want to get traded. Whatever, it's fine. We don't want players that don't want to be here. We already saw what happened years ago with Rajon Rondo. For those that know, you know. So we only want players that want to be here and play for us. But you got to come up with a better reason than that. The timeline doesn't add up. What's your timeline, Kyle Kuzma? You're going to be with the Wizards for like the next 5 years, racking up first-round picks to draft rookies, and meanwhile, you're turning like 32, 33, still trying to compete while trying to be better than the Detroit Pistons? That makes no sense to me. I'm trying not to make a big deal out of this, but guys, y'all have to see what I'm seeing. You don't want to be traded. You want to stay there and build something. I get that. I can respect that. Because when KD went to the Warriors, people were on him about that. So maybe you want to do it your own way. It's your career. All props to you. But your reasoning makes absolutely no sense. And that's why I mentioned Bradley Beal and John Wall before, because this is what's going to happen. Kyle Kuzma, he already signed a 4-year extension. Cool. It's going to take him up till he's 32 years old. And then he's going to milk him for everything that they got. 32-year-old Kyle Kuzma is going to get some crazy max deal that's going to take him all the way into his twilight years of 36, or maybe even 5-year deal, make it 37. And then what? You're going to build what, Kyle? Like, it makes absolutely no sense to me, guys. Again, you want to have control of your career, do it your way. I hear you. I get it. But the Dallas Mavericks aren't contending for a playoff spot. We're contending for the finals. Yes, I get it. We are the 8th seed. But if you look at the standings of the West right now, any of those, like, 4th through the 8th seed, if anyone loses a game, the Mavericks slide up. We are on a 5-game winning streak, which is the longest winning streak currently in the West. So we're right there. We're on their tails. And if any of those top teams slip, boom, we move up. And we play the Spurs tomorrow. Should be a dub for us, you know. We get a 6-game winning streak, and then maybe we move up. So it's not like you were trying to get traded to Detroit. It wasn't like you were trying to get traded to the Spurs. It was the Dallas Mavericks. Let alone, I get it. Our record isn't beautiful. We're the 8th seed. It's going to be a tough time for the remainder of the season to try to dig out of that hole. But you were playing next to Kyrie Irving, one of the best ball handlers, the best point guards this league has right now, who's also a champion, just like yourself. And you got Luka Doncic, who's a generational talent, who's having an MVP caliber season, who's trying to just bring another chip to Dallas. And then you got all the guys that are going to support them as well. You got Daniel Gafford that you've played with. You got PJ Washington. You got Josh Green. You got Jaden Hardy. You got Dante Exum, Maxi Kleber. You got Dwight Powell. Like, I'm not campaigning for Kyle Kuzma to come to the Dallas Mavericks. I'm just saying it's just kind of odd. But Kyle Kuzma wasn't the only person that felt the need to have some words about the Dallas Mavericks. Got it right here. Apparently, Brian Windhorst and Richard Jefferson on NBA Today had the nerve to just have a roundtable discussion of why don't players want to play with Luka Doncic and the Mavericks. And it makes no sense to me because right there they also show that Kyrie signed a 3-year, $120 million contract with the Mavs over the summer. So, I mean, okay, we didn't get Spencer Dinwiddie, which in reality he would have been coming off the bench and doing just bare minimum stuff. You have a better opportunity over there in Los Angeles. Go over there, have fun. Kyrie re-signed with us, so obviously a much better player wants to come to Dallas. And if Kyle Kuzma doesn't want to come because the money wouldn't work in his favor, because that's where it all boils down to. With Kyle Kuzma, it was about the money, the opportunity, and the money. You wouldn't have that here. In reality, the Mavericks need to go after key players, not like number ones and stars. We need to go after those key role players, those support players, just to help this team out. But honestly, I think we're pretty deep. I think this Dallas Mavericks team has everything that they need to make a deep run. If we can end up the 3rd or 4th seed, maybe even the 5th seed by the end of the season, come playoff time, I'm still pretty good, pretty sure that we can make a deep run, that we can make a push, get to the conference finals, see whoever we got to see, and just keep moving forward. If it doesn't happen this year, you try again next year. But that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything that we're doing here, Dallas Mavericks related. But until then, peace.